minutes. I'm Alma Gonzalez. I'm going to be the, I guess, the teacher for the session. We just came back from a previous session for the introductory, like showcasing what Desmos activities actually do. So for today, we're going to actually kind of build your own and kind of sort of learn how to code a few specific themes, or at least copy codes from others, or whatever the comfort level may be, and make your own Desmos activities that you can implement in your own classroom and make it personalized just for you. That's the goal for today's activity, and I'm really excited to go ahead and teach you what I've learned. To be fair, I only started learning Desmos Activity Builder like this school year, so I'm no way, shape, or form an expert, but I could definitely show you the things that I've learned as I've progressed in my Desmos knowledge. And with me, I have Evu. She could go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm a math teacher at American Canyon High School. I teach grades 9 through 12. This year I'm teaching Math 1 and Math 2. And so I'm so grateful to be here with you guys again with Alma. I consider myself kind of a beginner in Desmos activity building because there's so much you can do and learn and code in it. But again, happy to share with you what we have just played with and learned over the past semester of using it. Thank you, Rita and Scott, for joining us again from the first session. The first one was more about like just experiencing it as a student. And in this session, we hope to teach you guys how to build the activities and code them, like Alma said.
Okay, let me make this smaller. I'm not used to this being so big. So this is the link to the presentation slide deck. I actually won't be referencing it as much. It's there as a backup. I do have some pictures available of the things that I'm going to be doing, but most of the things that I'm going to be focusing on is showcasing you the Desmos interface. So what I'm going to ask all of you to do is to kind of sort of minimize Zoom and then have a open up a new window or a tab. We're going to go to desmos.teacher.com. I have this tabbed. It's actually right here for me. So this is my Desmos tab for teachers. And I also have this other one that's tabbed that's called the computational layer. And this has a lot of different codes that you can use to do various different things. But this is the one. Thank you, E, for putting it in the chat. Okay. So the purpose of this activity is to, let me show up the agenda actually. So we're going to try to figure out where do you find the coding button, what to code, so what can you code and what can you put in your code. And then we're going to actually try to start coding as well, slash building our own activities. So our goal is to create your own personalized activity. This is really weird for me because never mind. Maybe I should put this in here. I do dual screens, but usually I'm so used to sharing on my left and having what I have on the right. I think I just lost. Can you still see what I'm sharing or no?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. My thing moved. Okay, it's fine. And we're going to try to build our own activities for today. So I'm really excited about that. Can I get kind of sort of a number in the chat and let me know how comfortable you are with building your own activities in Desmos, where a 10 is, well, you wouldn't be here if you were a 10. So let's say a 10 is I'm an expert and I think I could do my own, I could teach my own presentation, and a 1 is I know what a Desmos activity is. I've used it before, but I've never ever actually made one. So where are you? Okay, so maybe I won't do as much coding and more activity building. Can you let me know also which level of math are you in? Do you teach like high school math? If so, which classes? If you teach middle school math or elementary school math, what grade level? Just so I could get. Okay, definitely a lot of different variety. Let me go here. Oh. Okay. So now that we are in, let me put this in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to start in teacher.desmos.com and then go ahead and have that open. What I'm going to do is maybe I'm going to share my screen instead of a tab, because I like to have two windows open, and I'll show you why it's kind of really beneficial to have two windows open. Oh, my theme's paused. Let me do a new share and let me do screen one. Let me know if you could see yourselves off to the side in Zoom. I don't think you can. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to build a new activity. So I'm going to go here, and this may or may not work very well because Desmos likes having things be large. So make sure that your Zoom is as small as you could possibly make it, but still be able to see comfortably. And your Desmos tab window should be pretty big. I have the schedule for the classroom as my background picture, so that I can let them in instead of having it fit as a new tab. So if you see the numbers back there, that's your schedule for our school. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build an actual activity, since a lot of you haven't really started one before. Is there a topic you want me to do? You could watch with me. You could actually go and do it by yourself. I'm going to teach you kind of sort of what to look for and how to do it. But if somebody wants to let me know which topic to actually build for everybody, give me something in the chat, and then whoever pops something in first, that's what I'll tailor the lesson to. Any suggestions? Try to think of a unit that you're currently in. Slope intercept form. Okay. So we have, the first thing I'm going to do is just type in slope intercept form. And then there's a lot of activities that are already here. These are things that I've done actually, that you can use. But what's really beneficial is if you do Desmos activities here and then do slope intercept form. And what you're going to see are activities that other people have done, because this one only popped up two. But then this one here, I have way more activities that show up that other teachers have made that the Desmos interface doesn't have. So let's say I'm going to look at this one. And here's an activity. It's outdated because it has a copy previous button. You can see that here. But what I could do is I could click on student preview and click on this slide. And these are the directions that this person wrote. It said, today we're exploring the slope intercept form of a line. And I could go through the slides here and I could look at the different things that they're doing. And then this is the teacher student view. So this is a dot that you can make it interactive and go up and down. And the students are supposed to, it looks like, kind of sort of see what's going on here. And it says drag the point. Maybe I don't necessarily like this. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm just looking to see what they have. And what I'm going to do over here is, which one do I really like? Maybe I like some of them, but not all of them. So one of the things that you can do is you could go up here and then click on these three dots and click copy and edit. And then now you have the entire activity ready for you to actually edit and change whatever it is that you want to change. So instead of starting from scratch, which you can't do, you could click to custom and then click new activity, which is here. These are all the activities I have. You could actually edit from somebody else's. If you click on this button here, you maybe want to delete the copy from or copy of, and then here's the same name. You could change the visual, which is right here. You could change the activity description. you could enable a calculator if you want to, which is down there, and then you click save. And so now you have the activity that you found that somebody else made. So this is a really good first step of how to kind of sort of create your own activity, is by taking it from somebody else. And there's a couple of buttons that are really beneficial. You're like, maybe I want more of these types of questions. And what you would do is you would click these three dots here, and you will click duplicate screen. So once again, click on the three dots and click duplicate screen. And once you do that, you'll have one completely new problem that is similar, exactly the same as the previous one, but now you could change the equation. Maybe you want it to be 4x plus 1. And then when you click preview, the student will be able to see that themselves. Okay, so let's pause real quick. And were you able to find your own I don't know. Were you able to find your own activity yourself? And then I'll give you, actually, let's do this. I'll give you time to find your own activity and search for one. And then would you want to do, sorry, it's a little different. Let me ask you a quick question. So number one is, or option one is, maybe we should, but do you want to learn how to make an activity from scratch? And then option two is, do you want to learn how to modify an existing activity? And then number three is coding, existing activity. And then I spelled that wrong, I'm sorry. Do you want to learn how to code things? How to code in the background? Because I think most people are option one though. What would you prefer? Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, I'm so used to like just doing it myself and just clicking a whole bunch of buttons. And then I'm like, Desmos activities is good. Do you want to do the breakout idea, Ms. Vu?
Sure, I can take which one? I can do one.
And I'll do two?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm going to be more calm. Okay, I got this. Let me
I can make
breakout
them
room.
too.
Yeah, it's just like for some reason I lost how to do things.
Got you.
So it looks like I have, oh, some people left. I'll do Jamie and I'll do move to room 2, 1. Okay, let's open up rooms. I'm fine. It'll be good. Join. Okay, so this way it does get recorded. I will feel really bad if somebody only saw the first 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me share. Okay. I hope I'm sharing the right one. There it is. So one of the things that I've noticed about card sorts in particular is that if you were to do an actual card sort the way it normally gets done, you'll connect the two things, and then you would have to go to the next slide to tell you, hey, is this right or is this wrong? And one of the things that you can do is you could actually edit the actual screen itself for the card sort on the screen page, and you could let them know immediately whether or not what they got correct is what it is. So what I want you to do is I want you to use this starter kit that I've created, and I want you to do 3 dots and copy and edit. And then that way you could actually see the code yourself as I show it to you. Okay, do you need me to share you the link again in the chat?
We still have the chat links.
Okay, so if you click edit and then copy and edit, are you ready? This will be easier with just one person. And then just have it open in a new tab. Hello, people watching. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, let me know. Are you ready? Can I continue? Okay,
Yep.
Sorry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click the edit activity button, and I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm referencing so that you could see it yourself. And then you could also go there yourself. So this is here's an activity. This is totally in no way, shape, or form content aligned. It's just different little things I wanted to highlight in terms of different things you can code. So the first thing that you should always do is label this as something. This is called CS1, card sort 1. These need to be unique, different names specifically for the card sort, because if you did something in the future and you had a different card sort, then it would actually reference the previous one, because you always want to include this extra line of code that tells the students how many of them they got right. Otherwise, you would have to show them yourself in the teacher view. So the way I did this one is I edited this portion here. This is the computational layer, the coding button. This is like the magic button. You can see it over here. And this will open the computational layer coding background interface where you actually edit all of your information. If you go to this one right here, you could see that I've added a subtitle. So most of the slides don't have a subtitle. If I go to preview, this is the title page, and this little portion right here is the subtitle. So I'm editing a subtitle, and you could do this for any slide. You could just add a subtitle to it. And then I did a code called you got. This little money sign means it's going to reference a number. And then it's going to say CS1. And then this is a code that Desmos has that says total correct cards out of, also referencing CS1 because you created an answer key in the card sort. And then it says total cards. So it's going to give them these two reference numbers. How many did you get correct out of how many total you could potentially get correct? And so as I do the preview mode, as soon as I make some connections, it says 2 out of 15. The other thing that could happen, this is exponential, this is linear, this one is exponential. But if I accidentally put something that isn't correct, it actually makes it go down, because all of these cards or all of these together aren't correct. So it will tell them immediately. Maybe you prefer this, maybe you don't. Because the normal way of doing card sorts is you have your card sort, there is no subtitle. You could tell that by going over here, and you could see that this is empty. And you could also see something's empty if it doesn't have that green circle, which is right here. This is what you look for if you see something that is already coded. If you go to this one's actually called sort 3. And the next slide, this is what normally happens, is it'll tell you whether or not you were correct from the previous slide. So then you always have to click next. If I go to preview mode and I go over here and I combine all like terms, let me do it really quickly because there's a really nice animation going on. Notice here how it doesn't tell you how many you have correct on the main one. But if I click next, it says, awesome job, you got them all right. Like this one actually has an animation that you could copy, and you would do that by selecting copy the screen. And all you have to do now is have your card sort named card sort 3. Because this code here, if you go here, it says sort 3 is match key 14. And then if you had CS1, like if I did CS1 and by accident and I had this instead, and I do my preview mode, I wonder if it saves it, you got 1 out of 10 correct. So it doesn't reference this one anymore. It now references this one, which is why it's really, really important to have that different name. Because if you don't have that different name, you won't be able to go from reference the correct one. And this is only true from what I found on card sorts. Card sorts are the most picky in terms of naming conventions out of all of them.
I have a question. So I found an activity for the unit circle that would be good, but when I checked it out on the preview, it never told me if I got the right answer or not.
Then it's not coded to give you whether or not you got the right answer or not.
Is that typical for when you search for them? Most of them aren't coded that way, and you'd have to add in that code?
Yes, potentially, because not everybody knows how to code the activities.
Okay, so then
Like-
we'd have to go into the screen that you're doing and add in that code for each slide.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Oh, it's called sort 3. And you'll notice this little triangle here. Whenever you see a little red, the orange triangle, it also even identifies exactly which line you coded incorrectly. And this is saying we can't find this at all in the activity in any way, shape, or form. And that's because I called it card sort. It was just sort 3. And then now that I've actually identified it by the correct name, it's happy. So that doesn't pop up. So for example, if you go to slide 5 has codes on how to actually check your answer. So this needs to be labeled as something because this is the student input. So the code needs to know exactly what needs to be, they need to reference. What do they need to match? And in this case, if it's a number or even an expression. So if their answer is a number or expression, this is the code for you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click on this one. One of the things that I've learned as I've coded much more is I like to have this part be as consistent as possible. Because as you noticed on the previous one, I had to find and search for the name. So maybe the name was card sort or sort 3, or maybe it was CS1. But if you do a little like question is equal to Q1. So if and then everything in content is labeled as question, question, question. So if I want to change what it references, then it could become Q2. And I don't have to go down here and do question, 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 and change it to Q2, 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 because I've done it automatically on my first one. So then that's what I like to do. And then you type in an answer. What is the actual correct answer? So that the code knows what the answer is. And I always do this at the very beginning before I do content. And then if it's a math input, you have to include the little tildes. I think that's what they're called. It's found on your keyboard if you go above the tab to the left of the exclamation or the 1 and underneath the escape. So that little button right there is the tilde, and this tells it that this is going to be a math input. All Desmos activities are math inputs. And then that's the symbol that they use for math input. If I don't have that, this is fine. You could do it like this, it's just a number. but I've gotten to the, and then you get rid of the latex here. But I've gotten to the point where I always include it because then my code can be consistent as to whether or not a student types in a number or an expression. Because if I include the tildes, then it counts as an expression. But because it's an expression, this doesn't know how to read expressions unless you tell it it's an expression, and you do that by doing dot latex. Okay. Do you want to try and edit yours? Do you want to send it to me? Put it in the chat and I can show you. So that way I can see it. All you have to do is copy this link here. And I'll be able to get to yours. Okay. And this is something that you found?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna click copy and edit because right now I can't edit at all. So if I click copy and edit this activity, once again, I definitely want to change the copy this. I probably would want to change this because my textbook probably isn't chapter 14 and it isn't MM12. This is also very specific too. So you could keep this because it's technically is designed by that, but this is theirs. And then one of the things that you should notice is once you finish it, it will say edited by, created by this person, and then lovely edited by, and then your name. So your question is on which part here? The multiple choice, like when they select the correct answer. If I go to preview and I go here, it doesn't tell me whether I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so this is a different kind of code that you're going to use. I'm going to go back to the activity builder, this one, and I'm going to go to the one that has multiple choice, which one has multiple choice? Did I not include one with multiple choice? That would be bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to give you a different link, and this is my cheat sheet. So one of the downsides to Desmos is that you could create something and you could have the the complete deck for it, but you only want one little component. You just want the code for check which one's correct in the multiple choice. And, oh, I gave you the wrong one. This is the one that I have. That's, don't edit anything on here. Desmos cheat sheet, public, because I made a public one. We have one for us that's internal for the teachers at our school site. And then I have one for all of you. And this one you actually have editing rights. So you could actually add your own code as you learn it and you could incorporate it. So it could become this collaborative thing. So go to the second link and not the first link. Sorry, Miss Loftus. So this is a collaborative effort between some of the teachers at our school site. So myself, Ms. Vu, Ms. Loftus, and Ms. Howell. So you can go to the computational layer and then you'll go down all the way to tables or multiple choice and they'll give you the code there. We also have it in this lovely little thing. Why am I doing this when I have, you wanted multiple choice, correct? So I'm going to click the multiple choice option, and this is what you want to copy and paste. So this is the code that you want to enter. So notice here how it says choice is equal to choice slide 4. It means you don't have to edit each of these individual options to change it to question 1, question 2, question 3, or whatever. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click, I'm actually going to add a new note. It's helpful because you need to tell the student, there needs to be a location where you tell the student what the actual correct answer is. So you do new note, so note, and it'll pop up here. And you're going to click the little coding button, and you're just gonna paste it. All of these are going to be wrong because everything here is dependent on choice being called choice slide 4. So just to make my editing life easier, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. This, if you want this to be referenced in any way, shape, or form, it needs to have a name. Okay? And then if I click on this, now there's no more little triangles. I'm good. I have this. And then as you can tell, the correct answer is the first one. It's A, or card number 1. So I don't want to edit the code for this one. I want to edit the code for this one. So A means choice is selected 1. So if the first choice is selected, then it's going to be 1. B is if choice is selected the second button. This is the second button. This is the third, the fourth, or the fifth. We could delete. I think there's only 4 of them. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to delete it because nobody's going to select 5. And the correct answer is just A. So this is if you have multiple correct answers. So like if your option is B, C, and E, the first option, the second option, the third option, and the last option, but not A or D, then this message is going to happen. But I'm going to just edit this part here, and I want to say this is A. You can't have this be in the beginning because like all codes, I don't know how familiar you are with coding, but like with all codes, if you put it at the beginning before it's defined, it won't be able to reference it. So you need to give these all a variable so that it could reference it. And then when choice is submitted and correct, it'll give them this little symbol, and then otherwise it'll say try again. One of the things that I like to do that this one doesn't have is, let me go over here. Actually, okay, because if you do this code here as is, and I click preview, it's going to say try again automatically because it hasn't selected anything. But once you select something, that should have worked.
It resorted them. It's the second one.
Oh, does this randomize it?
It did.
Read only true, but there's no code for it to randomize it. Let me minimize this.
I don't know, but when I first previewed it, it wasn't the first one either. So it did randomize them.
That's really weird because usually if it randomizes it, it's because there's a code for it to randomize. Let me
Yeah, because I just clicked on preview again, and then they're in a different order.
This doesn't have a code to tell it to do that. This didn't exist. This is just saying it read only. So how did that happen? Let me look at the correct answer is the first one. Oh, I know why. Remember the not part? Why did I delete it? Let's do B and C and D and E. Because let's not do that. I think it's gonna need all 3 of them. And let's delete E. Nope.
No, that's not the answer.
Because it's supposed to be this one.
If you click on it again, go preview again. Now it's the top one.
But it still says try again. I'm just really curious to see why it changes between the preview mode and the non-preview mode. I've never seen that happen unless you coded that, but there's no code for that. That should have worked. It should have been as simple as like, let's do this and then do the thing.
Well, it's working on mine when I try preview, but it's still randomizing it. Like, but it'll select it if I click on the right one. It says, way
Congratulations,
to
good
go,
job.
you got all of them.
Unlike mine, where if I click the first one, it doesn't even pop up. Oh, click submit. Nope, that didn't do it.
The first one wasn't the answer. Yeah, it's the last one now.
Way to go. Oh, so it does. Oh, maybe this is a function within the thing, so it changes it for each person. The other thing that will pop up is this little thing. So when you're in preview mode as a teacher, it tells you it's correct. This didn't happen before unless you had the code. No, actually, this would happen always because of the answer key component. Okay, let me exit out of this and let me preview again. And the answer is negative. And there you go. You have to submit it. Let me actually fix this real quick because there's a way for it to, this one. So let me copy and paste this. Here, content. So I want to do this one, when is blank. Actually, I don't think that's the one I want to do. Is blank. Because when is blank is a thing on the cell, and then I want to go to, and this tells the code that if nobody has done anything, I want you to do this instead. Submit count is equal to 0. Okay, so let me go over here and I'm going to make this a little bit better. And I'm going to definitely zoom in. I definitely can't see this. And then that's too big. When is blank, submit count is equal to 0. Why is it being weird? Usually you could do a whole bunch of when statements, and then the very last one needs to be an otherwise, but it doesn't like that. Oh, I know why. I didn't tell it what to do. Now this one's mad. Okay, so let me figure this out really quickly. There is a way for you to do, if nobody has selected anything, you could leave it so nothing shows. Because I feel like that's better than telling the kid immediately, oh, you have the wrong answer. Yeah. So this, if I could get this part here correct, then you put the little 2 quotation marks, and then what it will show them is a blank.
Right.
And if this goes away, something here needs to change. But usually it's a mid count because you want, oh, I know why. You have to put choice. What are you referencing? And then it's still mad at me. Why are you mad at me? Oh, it has no is blank. Submit count equals 0. There it is. That's the code. Let me copy this and put it in the thing. I feel like it should have been there already.
Started to put it in, but it's not in the right way, so.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. You want to go when? here. And I'll fix it on the other one that I have. Perfect. Okay, also, still learning how to code. Definitely learning experience. So now when I click done and I click preview, it doesn't pop up.
Yeah.
There's a little enters tab because there's something written there, but it's not there. So then if they click submit, then they know that's when they got it wrong. And then they'll have to edit their thing, and then that says way to go.
Okay.
Okay. And then now what you could do is just copy and paste this into the next slide over, and again, and again, and again. And that's the multiple choice ones.
Yes.
You could do that for select all. So the original code is for like select all, like if the answer is A and C, then you do the correct, or answer is, or correct is equal to A and C and not
Yeah,
the
that
other
was
ones.
on
The original.
assessment, so.
Let's go back over here. So one of the other really neat features of Desmos is that the tables, you could actually tell the student whether or not they're correct depending on their answer. So the way you do that is you have to label each cell, so row, comma, column. If you have, one of the things that I learned is the code here, nope, that's not the right code. On this one, if you have a header and a left, it will change the cell numbers. So a header is considered 0, and then this next one is 1. So this is the 0 row, this is the first row, this is the second row. Does that make sense? So headers are counted as 0. And then if you have a left, then this would be 0 column, 1 column, 2 column. And that's going to play a huge role when you code, because this is referencing cell 1, comma 1. So it's actually the first cell that they could enter information in the first column. Okay. If it had been the header, then it would be 0, comma 1. And you could actually just code everything in the background, but Desmos does some things with the thing where you could actually enter it within here. So just do that. Don't code it here. Because I could go table.cell content 01 is equal to, put the quotation marks for text, and enter the text of what I want the title to be. But why bother doing that when you could do that in the actual table itself? So this is saying that this is the correct answer. So this is correct 1, correct 2. I could copy and paste this and add more cells if it's a longer table and say, hey, this is correct. This is telling the person to submit before it tells them that it's correct. One of the things that I want you to notice is, let me go to my presentation. Actually, I'm going to go to, none of you were in the previous session, but one of the things that, nope. One of the things that you can do is without submitting it, if I go to preview, they actually have to put something in. Let me do 2.5 and then check my work, and then it'll tell them to try again. And then, oh, I can't believe its time was almost up. And then there's another code that you can do where actually without submitting it, it'll tell them whether or not they're correct or not. So that's like another option. So over here, the other thing that Desmos will do for you is let me go to preview. Let's say a student draws here, and then the next one, it'll reference their drawing. So that's something you can code, is have a reference go to the next one. If they enter a number here, not that it'll before, it will reference the number. So then you could actually have students input something and then get it referenced into the next one. And then they just answer these new questions, and they could draw here, and also they could draw on this again. This could have been referenced to the beginning, but I think on this one specifically, they were supposed to do a new question, or it could have been referenced. This one is really complex actually, but this one is referencing different answers at different times. So like for this one, I did it so that the next step is like make sure that you're factoring everything correctly before you start the step. Make sure the step 1 is correct, but it doesn't tell you. Did it supposed to tell you? I felt like it was supposed to tell you 3. I think if I did 3, I don't know. I'll have to look at the code. But it like builds upon itself. This one's really, really cool because it's polynomials, and some polynomial stuff. Like notice here how the question doesn't even pop up at all. But if I go to preview, there's question 1 and then there's an actual question. So this doesn't have anything. If I type anything, it won't pop up at all in the preview mode. Nothing's going to pop up because I coded something where it said content. If you ever have a content in anything, it won't show up. And this is a random number generator that Desmos has. So you could actually randomize numbers. So each screen is individualized for each student, which is why it's kind of useful, especially for test, especially for things that aren't super complex. So the structure can be exactly the same. You have the exact same, like you have to include the positives and the minus, because even if you randomize negative numbers, it'll be plus a minus number. So it just makes sense if you just as a teacher decide, I want it to be plus a number or minus a number. And then you
So
have
does it randomize? So does it randomize the numbers that you gave it, or okay?
I'm here.
So to make sure the problem works, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so this is A. A is the coefficient of the x squared term. These are all the coefficients that are randomized. So this is a plus minus, and this is a minus minus, and there's a plus in the middle. So all of the students are going to have a number, x squared, plus a number times x minus a number. And then they have to add that to a number, x squared minus a number. And then I change the range. I want b to be small, and I want e to be big, so that they'll have to subtract it from a negative number. And the same thing with f. I wanted f to be bigger, and then c to be kind of sort of big. And then if I click done and preview, it would still randomize it. So each student will have their own. They won't be able to check their answer. Actually, I think they can, but I don't know the code for it. I could try to figure out what it is. One of the things that another coworker did is like they did a multiple choice answer key thing, and then you select which option you ended up with, and then it'll see whether you're right or wrong. And then those options were based off of whether or not the numbers that popped up. But that was for inverses. I think it'll be harder to do because I haven't figured out a way to code subtraction, addition, multiplication, or division in Desmos. Like I can't code that. Like usually in a coding platform, you could say, I want A to be equal to 5 minus 2, where I want A to be equal to C minus C plus D. But I can't do that at all in Desmos. So you have to preset all your numbers as a specific number, not as a combination of other numbers. This is a new feature that I found. I actually didn't code this myself. If I preview this, there's buttons, a new button feature. There's like a help solving one, and then there's a hide hints. And then once the information is in, you could actually, what is the inverse of this? X minus 7 and then done solving. So this is what I'm talking about. Like I think this is randomized and it has the different components. So x minus 7, and then check it, and then you did it and you have it right. But those are little buttons that you actually have to press. So like I could click edit my response, and then there should have been a way to go back here, but maybe that didn't happen. But like this is what I mean by, but then the 7 is already preset because it exists here. Like this random number is a 7, so this random number is a 7. If you did it for random numbers on the previous one that I showed you, it wouldn't work because then the answer key would be a combination of two numbers, and that doesn't work out very well. Okay. And then This one is kind of like piecewise functions, where you could actually have a kid graph something and see if it matches exactly. But those are different things that you can do. But the idea behind, so like different things. But this one isn't even coded anywhere. There's no code. This doesn't have a code. These could get really complex in terms of codes, though. You could see there are a lot of different kinds of codes that you can do. You could code graphs. But what I like to do is copy and paste codes that other people have done. And then I know the foundational stuff, like card sorts, how to make sure that it answers correct as an expression or a number. And I do that the same way. Tables and multiple choice and select all. And then these three are helpful, how to transfer knowledge over. And those are like my basic go-to coding skills. Questions?
Well,
It's a lot of information.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I recommend you look at this as different kinds of codes that you can do. There's supposed to be a description kind of to explain the code. But this is something that we compiled. We're not experts in this field. I also recommend the CL layer. Not that I like the CL layer, but that's what the one I recommend. Sometimes it can be confusing. I'm not going to lie. The computational layer. I have this saved as a tab as well. And then,
so do you use Desmos for tests too?
Yeah, I've done that before. Let's go delete this. I didn't even do that at all. Desmos. Custom. I usually do custom. You can have collections, but I don't keep up my collections very much. When I do though, like this one, I did these. This is something that a different coworker did, but I use Canva to draw a picture. So then each unit has a consistent picture, and then I save it and then upload it because you could edit the pictures. And then, so I also numbered it with the pictures, and then we did a test. This one, this is a pre-test, but you could just ask them their questions, have them answer it, and then go through. These are I can statements because it's the pre-test, and then just use the teacher view to grade it.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a new, I didn't share this one because I don't know how to do it. I was going to look at it later, but let me go to customs. And it's also private right now, so I don't necessarily want to share it out, but there's a way to press and submit a test, and it'll make it so it blocks it from editing it, so the students can't go back and edit. But it's a multi-step way of doing it, so you have to set up the first few slides for it to happen, and then you have to set up this last one for it to happen, because in the code there's a lot of different components and you have to know what to edit. So if I go to this one and I click the code, I need to name something button styles, or yeah. I think this is the one, but I have to, you have to know what exactly is called what and where. And if you don't know that information, then you can't edit it or you can't use it. Which is why I highly recommend that you always name the things that you want to edit. Choice slide 4. So this is the things that you want them to reference. Oh, I really have to go. I'm the facilitator for the next one.
Is there a survey?
Yes, it's the same survey for everything.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. The other, I don't know. Be honest. Let's go with that. Do you have the link for the previous survey?
I think I can find it.
I'll get it too. I know where I could get it. I could get it from Zoom. Let me sign in again. Let me go to chat. Okay, this is the link to the survey. Participants.
Got it. Thank you.
Have fun. It was
Okay.
great seeing you again.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
And sorry, Mario. Stop share.